My name is Peter. I'm an affiliate manager from IQ Option, and I welcome you to this webinar. Today, we're going to talk about the main features of the IQ Option platform. We're going to talk about the assets, the different instruments that are available for trading. Now, the first thing, as with any other website that you visit, is the sign up. First, you need to have an account in order to start trading with IQ Options. So in order to sign up, you click here on this right corner and you input your name, last name, email, and password. The standard things you'll need to put that usually are used everywhere. Name, first name, last name. Make sure that you use your real name if you're opening an account with IQ Option, because you might need to verify, you will need to verify your account at some point, and it is essential that the name and surname matches the name and surname in the identification document. Also, make sure that there are no spelling mistakes in the email and in the password. As always, it's important. And also, you need to confirm that you are over 18 years old, as trading is allowed for adults. So you click here, and also I suggest you read the privacy policy by clicking here, and terms and conditions. It's all here. After you've done, you click here on the open an account for free. So I'm just going to skip that because I already have an account with IQ Option, which I'm going to use to trade. Also, if you have a Facebook account, you can sign up using your Facebook account by clicking here on this blue button with logo Facebook, and same thing for Google. Click here if you want to sign up with your Gmail account. So I'm just going to skip this part, as I said, and I'm going to log in using my username and password. All right, I click here, and this is what's going to appear here. The amount of funds that I'll have. So probably when you open an account, this is going to be 0 because you won't have any real funds. I'll show you how to make a deposit in a few seconds. This is the button to go and make a deposit. This is the button to go to the trade room, where you can start trading without even having any money on the account, as the demo account is available straight away. So you don't need to make any deposit to have the demo account available for you. It's a really nice feature, because I've heard and I know that some brokers, they only allow access to the demo account after you've done the deposit. Here, you can trade on the demo accounts right from the start. So, personal data, portfolio, withdrawal of funds, transaction history, trading history, and contact the support. Now, I'm pretty sure that you might have some questions after this webinar. Go here if you want to contact the support. They're available and ready to help you out. Also, check this out. Download button is at the bottom of the page, at the bottom right corner. If you click here, it's going to take you to the download of the application. Now, I strongly recommend you to download the application, because it has been designed for the ultimate trading experience. It's going to be smoother, it's going to be faster, it's going to be better, especially for those who are using an internet connection that is not so good. Also, you won't have the temptation of opening too many tabs, which also might slow you down if you do not have a very good connection. For example, my connection is not so great, and hopefully it's going to be all right for this presentation, as normally I use the standalone application. But just for the sake of a presentation, I'm using the web version. So click here if you want to download the standalone. Now, it appears as the application for Mac. If you're using Windows, same thing, same place. This button is going to take you to the page for the download of the Windows application. Now, next thing I was thinking about showing you today was how to make a deposit. If you want to make a deposit, you need to click on this green button here. By clicking on it, the site is going to take you to the page for the deposits. Now, here you can see that the lowest deposit, the minimum amount that you can deposit is $10. The maximum amount is $10,000. Now, if you are making a high deposit, let's say $3,000, you might need to make sure that your bank allows you to make a transaction with this amount. For example, I know that my bank does not allow me to make more than $1,000 transaction, 1,000 euros transaction per transaction. So if I was to deposit $3,000, I would need to repeat three 1,000 euro transactions here. So you have to accept the agreement, the terms and conditions in order to proceed with the payment. There are different methods available for the deposit in different countries, e-wallets, Visa, MasterCard, and other methods that might vary depending on your current location. Also, you're not buying to deposit 10 or 50 or 250 or 1,000. You can deposit, let's say, 134. Whichever amount you want, you can just type in here. The minimum is 10, the maximum is 10,000. Also, pay attention to this crown. This means that starting with this amount, you will have VAP conditions, which means that you will have an increased return on our assets. You'll have a personal account manager who's going to be more than willing to give you information about the markets. You can request a callback at any time. They're going to be more than happy to call and consult you on any question or any inquiry that you might have. So take a note, if you are planning to deposit higher amounts, that starting from 3,000 euros or $3,000, you'll have the VAP conditions. Also, on some of the assets with VAP conditions, you'll have a higher profit. Now, let's straightforwardly go to the trading room. In order to do that, we click here on the Trade Now button. It's going to take some time to load, and while it loads, I want to tell you that we have support available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're ready to answer any kind of questions that you might have. And support is available to any trader. It doesn't matter if you had deposited $10 or $100, or even if you had not deposited at all. Even with a demo account, feel free, do not be shy, contact the support team. They will be more than happy to answer your questions, and they speak 17 different languages and they work 24 hours. So I'm pretty sure that after this webinar, you're going to have some questions and they're going to be more than willing to help you out. Also, we have the frequently asked questions section. I'm going to show you once the page loads. In the frequently asked questions, you will be able to find answers to some of the most common questions that traders have. For example, what is the difference between this and the other type of asset? What is cryptocurrency? What are the CFDs? What is Forex? What is spread? So of course I'm going to tell you about all of these things, but you'll find some useful links in the support section. Now, this is the first thing that you're going to see once the platform loads. So this is the trade room. So this is where the magic happens. Now, this is, if you look at the Bitcoin, if you click on the Bitcoin icon, this is where you can select the available assets. So you're not binded to trade on the Bitcoin. You click here and you can find the list of assets available. In total, we have 5 different asset classes: cryptocurrencies, CFDs, Forex, digital options, and options. So when you go in here, you might want to select a particular asset of your interest. I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to mention all of these assets. But since we already have crypto, let me show you where you need to go to select the cryptocurrency. So right now it's Bitcoin. You see it's highlighted here, but also there are different cryptocurrencies available as well: Tron, Ripple, EOS, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and others. So you might want to spread by popularity. You might want to sort by popularity, sort by spread, and also you can sort the cryptocurrencies by the percentage of change. So for example, if I sort by change, I can see that Tron had a significant change today, more than the other cryptocurrencies, minus 7.55%. So if I open Tron, I'll be able to see that in the chart. So in order to look at the chart, which will be more detailed, and more telling, I need to click here to change my chart type. So by clicking here on this little menu, I can select the chart type, the time interval if I'm using candles or bars, graphical tools, indicators, and also other traders deals. Now, I'll go one by one. Chart type. This is where you can select the chart that you would wish you would want to use for your trading. For example, you can use area line. You can see that Tron is practically in a flat movement right now. So if I can use my mouse, which I'm doing now, to zoom in and zoom out. But also I can click here to zoom out and to zoom in. So I zoom out and I zoom in, and also you can see here, for example, Daniel W, Marcel H, Daniel T. These guys are other traders trading on Tron right now, and this is where they have opened their positions. So I can switch the appearance of these markers on and off by clicking here, other traders deals. I can activate it and I can switch it off by clicking here. So I can switch it off, I can turn it on. So this is the amount that they have invested, and this is where they have opened their positions. So it's a cool feature. It shows you where the other traders are trading, where, and what are they looking at. For example, these guys, they seem to have a positive feeling about Tron, so that's why their positions are buying positions. So they've opened positions that anticipate growth of the Tron cryptocurrency. Now, other useful features that I'm sure most of you will want to use are the technical indicators. They are located here. These are the indicators that we have on the platform. You can read a short description for each indicator. And once again, guys, do not hesitate to contact support about any of these indicators. They are very competent and experienced in the trading inquiries. They'll be able to tell you everything you'll need to know on how to set up this or the other indicator and how it works, which indicators are best for what type of situation in the market. Oh, you can see here, somebody just opened the position there. So, indicators, right? And also graphical tools. Graphical tools are simpler tools. They're more simple than the indicators. They usually represent a line, a straight line, horizontal line, or Fibonacci lines. You can activate them here. We're going to talk about that in our next webinar. Now, the area chart is not the only type of chart available on IQ Option. You can also use the line chart. You can also use candles chart. You can also use hollow candles and bars. Hollow candles and bars is basically same thing as candles. You can call it candles on steroids or just a different type of candles, right? So this is where you select the chart type. Some people prefer area charts, some people prefer candle chart. I usually trade with candles. Now, if I choose to select candles, hollow candles, or bars, I'm also free to set a time interval, which is the price range for a specific time interval used in candlesticks and bars. So I can select the time interval from 5 seconds. It's going to move really fast. Oh, by the way, this is where I can click to focus on the current price. So if I'm lost somewhere in the chart, somewhere here, and I want to go and check what is happening with Tron or any other asset right now, I just click here, and this is what's happening. It's moving in a flat, basically, practically no movement at all. So time interval, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute, even a day or a week. So it really depends on whether you are looking to make a short-term trade, a long-term trade, and also it depends on your particular trading strategy. So if I'm trading with Tron and I see that there's hardly any volatility on the market, obviously I'm not going to trade, I'm not going to look at the charts with 5 seconds candles because I cannot understand where it's moving, whether it's moving down, whether it's moving up. it doesn't say anything. So let's try to change it to, let's say, 1 hour. And hopefully it's going to show me a better picture, especially since we've selected the Tron because it had a 7% decrease in price. So this is the 7% decrease in price. As you can see here, this is what happened with Tron in the last 2 hours. It's going down. So use the time interval for your convenience. So if you're looking at the chart that doesn't make any sense, I'll go back to 5 seconds. You might want to change the time interval in order to see the larger picture. So you go here, you select 1 hour, right? You can also zoom in and zoom out by using this button. You can zoom out, you can zoom in, zoom out, and zoom in. This is very useful. And also at the bottom, you can select the chart type to be 30 days, 7 days, 1 day, 12 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. So all these functions allow you to have a better image of the chart. Now, I also wanted to talk to you about the spread. So spread, you can see here, for example, for Tron, it's 12%, for Dash is 7%, 6.5 for OMSI Go. Spread, let me tell you what it is. You see this dotted line? So this dotted line above and below the current market position is the amount of price movement that you'll need to overcome in order to start making profit. So when you open a position, which is going to be open here unless you select a pending position, I'm going to talk about that later. If you're opening a position, this is the amount of movement, upward or downward movement, that you'll need to overcome to start making profit. Next, let's move to the right side panel, sorry. This is where you can select the amount with which you want to trade. So let's say we're trading with Bitcoin and I want to invest $1. The cool thing about trading cryptocurrencies on IQ Option is that you don't need to buy 1 Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoins. You can trade with as less as €1 and you'll buy an equivalent of €1 in Bitcoin. So for example, if I select $3,000, I'll get 0.4 Bitcoins. If I put $10, I'll get 0.00156 Bitcoins. So you put the amount in euros, or for example, your account can be in Brazilian reals, it can be in dollars, it can be in other currencies as well. So this is where you select the amount, and this is how much of the cryptocurrencies you're buying. So let's say $10. I'm not sure about the movement of Bitcoin, so if I want to analyze it, I need to zoom out, and I can see clearly that it has been moving down. So let's say this trend will continue, and as far as I'm concerned, it's going down for the last couple of hours. So I put the amount here, $10, and next I select sell button if I'm anticipating that the price will continue to move down. So I click on the sell button, it asks me to confirm selling, and once I do that, my position is open. So you can see here that my position is open here. So this is the amount that I need to overcome in order for this trade to become profitable, as it is not profitable now due to the spread. So by selecting an asset with the lowest spread, I am able to regulate how much of the price movement I need to overcome. Next, this is one very useful feature that IQ Option offers. For example, especially if I'm trading with higher amounts, for example, if I'm trading with $100 or if I'm trading with $200, I want to make sure that I do not lose this money due to a sudden fluctuation of the market. So in order to safeguard myself, I go here to the auto closing. So auto closing is a setting that allows you to set profit or loss levels at which the trade is going to be closed automatically. So for example, I select a profit of 50%, which means that once I win €5, the position is going to close automatically. Also, I can safeguard my losing, and here I can select, for example, when my loss is 40%, which is €4, the trade is also going to be closed automatically. So when I'm done, I go like this, and here you can see that the auto close level has been set. It's not updating. So the auto close right now is set at 50 and loss is set at 40. So let me try to open another position. I open it here, I confirm buying, and these are my stop loss and take profit. So let me select this asset. It's here. So for the second one, I can set it up. My profit is taken at 50%. My loss is taken at 40%. For the first trade, let me see. For the first one, I can set, for example, take profit to 60 and stop loss 80, right? Also, if I want my position to be open, nevertheless, independent of the amount that I have invested, I can use this function. For example, I invested 10 euros, but if I click here, use balance to keep position open, it will use my balance to keep that position open. So disregarding the amount invested, it will use the amount I have here. Also, I can use trailing stop if I want to have a more flexible, a more dynamic stop loss. So this feature shifts your stop loss limit up or down depending on the price of the asset. So if for example, if the market moves in my favor, it shifts my stop loss and take profit, so I can have more profit and I can take less risks, let's say, when I'm using this function. But it's all independent, of course, and it should be used in combination with a strategy. So you can see here the auto close and the stop loss. So for example, if the market moves here, I open a call position, a buy position, so market moves here, and my trade is closed automatically when I'm having this loss, and my trade is also closed automatically when I'm having this winning. So use this function. It's very useful when you want to have more control, especially with the trailing stop. It will allow you to shift these levels along with the price movement. So it's really cool. Now let's go and check out the other assets available here. So we'll go to CFDs. When you open the CFDs, you can see stocks with the largest market cap. So due to the World Cup in Russia, IQ Option has recently added stocks of some of the famous football clubs such as Manchester United, Borussia Dortmund, and Juventus, also AS Roma and other clubs. Now, besides the clubs, you can also find here UBS, which is the stock price of UBS, Credit Suisse, Apple, Heineken, AMD, and other assets. So let's say you want to trade with stocks of a particular company that you know. For example, you're aware of Honeywell, or you know Tesla, Netflix. You have been following them. So after you've done your analysis, you might want to trade with a specific company because you know it better. Let's say Rolls-Royce. It can be any company if you're choosing. So you select it here. Let's say I want to trade with Fiat Chrysler. So of course, I recommend doing research. Also, I recommend following the fundamental news, since when you're trading with stocks, one of the most important factors will be the news concerning that or the other particular company. So anything that is revolving around Fiat Chrysler will affect the stocks, whether it be earnings reports, financial news, or some new technological advances within this company. Maybe they will issue a new company. Maybe they will issue a new model for the cars, or a new technology, etc., etc. All of these factors might affect the stocks. So again, you see this dot here. You see this dotted line above and below the chart. Again, this is the spread. Also, this is what I like to do. I like to I like to sort them by spread. So you see here, for example, for Accenture or for Qualcomm, the spread is minimal. It's just 0.017. It's a very small spread. I open it here, and I can almost not see it. You can see how small it is. So this is very cool, very interesting. If you want to see your order become interesting right away, this is what you do. So you can see somebody has just opened the position at that price level. So this is where you go. You select company by spread, you list them by spread, and it allows you for some interesting trades. So same thing here. I might want to look at the bigger time interval. Let me select 1 minute. So this is how small is the spread for the asset. I think I'll make a trade in Qualcomm. Let's analyze the market. Let's zoom out, and we can see that in general, it went down. You can see that this candle, for example, stopped here, and this candle opened here. Now this is very interesting because, of course, obviously, the stock market operates during certain working hours. So this is where the stock of Qualcomm closed yesterday, and this is where it opened today. So imagine if somebody made a trade here at this level, on the next day, after this long candle, all of this would be a possibility for a profitable trade. So making trades and leaving them overnight, it's a very useful feature. By the way, IQ Option has some of the lowest overnight fees. So use this function if you have studied the company and you think there's going to be a certain movement the next day. It's like making a trade and closing the profit on the next day, on the first hour of the next day. It's very cool. You can see that some people are using this function. So people are opening positions here. So going back to the right side panel, again, same thing, amount. You can select one of the given amounts, or you can put your own amount here, let's say $132, oh, sorry, euros. And this is the multiplier. So let me tell you about the multiplier. We didn't see any multiplier on crypto. Now we see the multiplier on the CFDs. Now, multiplier allows you to multiply the amount you invest. For example, you invest $50, and if you choose the multiplier times 10, it means that your profits or your losses will be equal to those as if you were trading with 500 euros, because 50 times 10, 500. So this is a very useful feature if you're anticipating growth, or if you're anticipating a decline in the price of a particular asset. You want to make the trade, but you only have 50 euros, let's say, and you really want to make a trade that will generate a significant percentage change in your selected position. So in order to do that, you will need some additional funds, or you can use the multiplier. So if you use the multiplier, basically you're trading with 50 euros as if you were trading with 500 euros. So it's a very useful feature if you have started a particular asset and if you want to make a trade that you think can generate some interesting results. This is where you go. You select the multiplier times 10, and whatever amount you put here, it becomes 10 times more. Be aware though that if you use the multiplier, not only your profits increase, but also your losses. In case you have miscalculated the price movement of a particular asset, your losses will also be multiplied. So it works both ways. So make sure you have studied and you understand the risks. So you can also opt to not to select a smaller multiplier times 3 or times 5. That way you will have lesser risk. But if you're sure and you're ready to engage in trading with a particular asset in a particular price, then go ahead, select times 10. Let me try to do that just to give you an example of that. I'm not going to risk 50 euros, but I'm going to open a position with 10 euros, and this is where I go, 10 euros up. As you can see, the auto closing has been transferred from the settings that I have used on the cryptocurrencies, and this is where my trade is going to close. In case of profit, this is where it's going to close in case of a loss. So it's very useful. Also, you can see that the spread is tiny. So this is very convenient. I always sort by spread in order to find where the spread is minimal. Now, besides the buying and selling at the actual price, I can also purchase at a given level. This is a fantastic function that allows me to open a position at a certain price. For example, right now the price is at 58.37, So what this means is that one stock of Qualcomm is worth $58. So let's say I anticipate growth or anticipate decline. So in this case, I can set purchase at let's say 57.8. So I select whether I want to buy or whether I want to sell at that price. You can see that a clock icon appears here on the sell and buy button. And let me go ahead and anticipate growth at this price. So I think that when the price will reach the level of 57.8, it's going to start to move up. Actually, let me try to select different asset because different asset price because 57.8 is way below. Let me try to put it at 58.02. Let me try to do that, 58.02, and let me open a pending buy position. So the position has been created. You can see it here. So when the market price of Qualcomm will reach this level, this position is going to be open, anticipating further growth. It's very convenient because it allows you to open a position at a selected price level. You can see it here. So this is where the position is going to be open when the market reaches and if the market reaches this price. So I can make a profit while it's going up, and when it goes down and reaches this level, I'll be able to open a second position anticipating growth. So I'm anticipating growth here. It's gonna automatically be closed at more or less this level. And then let's say I presume that it's gonna go all the way down to this level where another position is going to be open and where I anticipate further growth. Now, I think we've covered this. Also, I want to tell you that you can set up order closing and take profit at any given time, and you can close the position also at any given time. So you can have a lot of flexibility when you're trading and you're using all of these functions correctly. So let me show you where the open trades are. You can select here to go to the total portfolio. So these are the trades that I have made on some point or the other: Amazon, Google, Alibaba, Bitcoin, Qualcomm. So all of them are going to appear here. And here I can also see the total amount of invested money. In total, I've invested 39.68 euros, and this is my current profit with everything that I have invested so far. So all the active positions are going to be here. Remember that we have this pending position. We go here and we can find it here. Qualcomm buy at 58.02. If I change my mind, no worries at all. I can close it down by clicking on this trash can icon near the Qualcomm button. So if I click here, and I can confirm it by clicking on the X, it's going to disappear. So it's not going to open. Sorry, I need to click twice. My mistake. So you click twice on the bin, and it's going to be closed. So active positions, pending position. Also, you don't need to go here to close the position. You can select them here, and you can close them with a click here, right? Or here. Let's say I don't want to close this position as it's going up. Let me close the position on Bitcoin. Close all. I can do it from here as well. So trading history. This is where my trading history is located. These are some of the positions that I've opened, mostly for the sake of demonstration, and they're going to be appearing here. I can sort them by all positions, cryptocurrencies. I can sort them by CFDs, by Forex, and etc. Digital options, and so on. If I want to chart or if I want to contact the support, I can go here. Remember I was telling you about the cool support bot. I can go here, for example, and select a particular topic of interest. For example, this is what I have been selecting. How to trade, how to deposit, trade crypto. These are some of the preset questions that I frequently asked. And if it's not enough, I can click here to connect with a live agent. So I click connect with the live agent, and a support officer is going to be assigned for me. It doesn't matter if I have funds on my account, if I'm trading on a demo account, if I just open the account, they're going to be more than willing to help me. And also I can type my question here. I don't have any question, but if I would have, I could send it to you. For example, how to trade with the RSI indicator. So I type it here, and the support officer is going to read my question and is going to answer me within the next few minutes. Now this is the leaderboard. You can see the successful traders who have made it to the top. So first up to the whatever 100th place. So these are traders that have been traded, and this is the amount that they have made. OTN tokens, we're going to talk about that later. Market analysis. This is where you can go, especially if you're trading with CFDs on stocks. You might want to follow the information regarding that or particular stock. Now you can see the icon here. This icon represents the particular stocks of companies that this news piece concerns. For example, General Electric and Apple stocks are the only Dow losers, while ExxonMobil and Chevron face the gainers. If you see the Eurozone symbol here, that means that this news affects Euro. You can scroll down, and by looking at the icons, you can see which is the asset that this news concerns. You can also go to the Forex calendar. Here you can see different news pieces that have came out, that came out, or that are to come out in short. For example, GFK consumer confidence, industrial production, private sector credit, housing starts, etc. So these are the news pieces that concern a particular forex currency. For example, Japan means that this news affects the Japanese yen. This news affects the British pound, the Australian dollar, and so on. Now, also the importance of the news is marked by dots. For example, one dot means that it's a news that will have a moderate importance and might generate moderate reaction in the markets. Two dots means that this particular news piece has medium importance, while three dots means that this news or this economic event might create a substantial volatility in the market. You can click here to read more. So for example, here you can see that it's a highly important news, and here are the assets that are going to be affected with it. So you can anticipate the coming of this particular economic event, and you can trade on it by reading the information and by making a trade when this economic event is taking place. And also you can see the forecasted consumer confidence in this particular case and the previous one. You can see it here as well. The previous percentage change of industrial production monthly and the forecasting. Also, you can go to video tutorials, and here you can see videos regarding new features. You can read, you can watch videos regarding different cryptocurrencies, different assets. Also, you can read about the indicators. You can watch some videos about the interface analysis and other stuff that might be interesting for you. The help section, this is where the frequently asked questions are. So feel free to go here as well. So these are the CFDs. We've covered CFDs, we've covered crypto. Let's go to Forex. You open Forex and you see basically the same thing as with CFDs and crypto, with the only difference being that here you are seeing currency pairs, because Forex is basically the exchange of one currency against the other. So you can sort them by popularity. Of course, the most popular, and it is the currency pair which amounts to more than 30% of the worldwide trade, is the euro against the dollar. You can also see Canadian dollar against the Swiss franc, Australian dollar against the Japanese yen. So these are some of the most popular currencies. So an IQ option, you can find the majors, which are Euro USD, Euro against the British pound against the dollars. You can find the minors, which are, for example, the Australian dollar against the Japanese yen. And you can also find some exotic currency pairs, such as dollar against the South African rand, against the Polish zloty. You can see, and you can find the Russian ruble, you can find the Brazilian real, and so on. Mexican peso. You can find different currencies here. So if you live in a particular country, Hola Mexico, or if you live in Russia, in Russian ruble is more convenient for you. You can select an exotic pair, and you can also spread them by. You can also sort them by the spread. For example, let's see here, the American dollar against the Chinese yuan has the smallest spread at the moment, which might also mean that it has a low volatility. So you can see the chart right now for this asset. Let's switch the time interval to 10 minutes. And you can see the open positions. Right now, the USD, the American dollar against the Chinese yuan, you can see the market moving. You can see that, well, it's, I would say it's moving down, but of course, even if I make a trade right now with 5 euros just for the sake of the demonstration, before you trade, make sure you analyze the market very well, very substantially. Also, you can close the trade when you wish. For example, right now, oops, didn't manage. I wanted to close it when it was in the profit. But what I was trying to show to you is that you can close the position at any given time. And also, same thing that I showed you on the cryptocurrencies and on the stock markets applies here. You can buy and sell. You see the dotted line, which represents the current spread. You can set up a pending order by choosing an asset price at which the order is going to be open, at which the position is going to be open. Also, you can do it through clicking on the plus. For example, you want to purchase at this level, and like this, the position is going to be open in this level. Also, order closing, same thing here as we've discussed with cryptocurrencies and as with the CFDs. Now, let's talk about the options. We'll go to options, and here we see that it's a bit different. There's no spread. It appears a profit. This is what I was waiting for. Close the position. So I wanted to close the position in profit. Again, the market was volatile. Let me open another one. I still want to do it. So I go here, I select options, and as you see here, it's a bit different. You don't see spread because there are no spreads on options. You can select digital options. Also, there's no spread. There's just 1 hour change. So let's go to options, and I select a currency pair here. We see the same thing. British pound against Australian dollar, euro against Australian dollar, and the euro against Canadian dollar, etc. We see currency pairs. So this makes it a bit more like Forex because we are trading on currency pairs, but not only currency pairs, because if you scroll down a bit, you can see that you are able to trade on options on stocks. This is where they are, but most people mostly trade with the currency pairs. So I'll go here, and this is what's different. So instead of the multiplier and instead of the take profit and stop loss, we have higher and lower. Actually, trading on options, both digital and normal options, is one of the easiest way to get to know the financial market. So I select the time frame where my option is going to expire, 1 minute to 5 minutes, right? For Swiss franc against the Japanese yen. Let me try a different asset, euro against Australian dollar, and here I can also see the larger time frames, for example, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, end of the day, and end of the month. So what does this change? For example, if I select the expiry time at 43 seconds, let me see here, and let me make a demonstrative trade of $1. So I make a trade, $1. This means that this trade is going to expire here. So my trade is going to be expired when the market reaches this level, and this dotted line represents the time at which I can sell or buy additional options. After this dotted line, I cannot buy nor sell at this expiry price. So I'll need to select a different strike price in order to make my trading, in order to make my trade. So this is for 1 minute, for 2 minutes, for 3 minutes, 4, 5, and also I have the possibility to select higher time frames. So you see, my position was open at 0. It expired at the same level as it was. Let me try to make another position. You see, at the time frame of 10 seconds might not be enough for you to look at the actual market movement. If I select 5 minutes, I'll get a bigger picture. Also, if I add some indicators, this is what I'm going to see. So I need to select the amount, let's say 10 euros, and be aware that if you select an expiry time of 1 minute or 2 minutes, it's going to be riskier than if you select 15 minutes or 45 minutes. First off, you won't be able to have much of a control when you make your trade. You see, this is where I select the amount, and also this is where I select the time frame. So as I was saying, I prefer to trade on larger time frames, for example, 45 minutes. Now the purchase time is 31 minutes, not 45, because some time has been passed, because this is updated when the previous option expires. So you can also trade until the end of the day. Until the end of the day, it's not 24 hours, it's 4 hours, because the day ends in 4 hours for me, and also until the end of the month, which will end in 1 day and 4 hours. So that is why it's not 30 days, it's 1 day, because it's only 1 day and 4 hours until the end of May. Summer is coming. So I'm happy about that. Hopefully it's going to be nice weather where you are as well, as sunny as it is in Cyprus. Now, the final thing I wanted to show you today was the digital options. You go here and you'll find basically the same thing as you find in the options section. You find currency pairs and you can select them. Again, you can select the expiry time from 1 minute to 5 minutes. This is the difference between the normal options and the more dynamic digital options, because the variety of time frames on digital options is less. You can select 1 minute, or you can opt to trade with 5-minute expiry times. And also what's different is that, let me go back to Euro USD. So I'm going back here, the market is going up. Let me select at least 1 minute. So if I was to trade, oh sorry, it's GBP USD, Euro USD. All right, so if I was to trade, I would use a graphical tool, which is a horizontal line, and I would put it somewhere here. So for example, I think, let me see, let me zoom out. I think at this point there might be a reversal. So at this stage, I would buy a put option. At this point, I think it's going to go higher. So I select higher. You can see that I have different strike prices available, and I'm able to make trades at this strike price, at this strike price, and if I change the expiry time for Euro USD, I'll have even more strike prices. So I will be able to open a higher position here. You can see that on the digital options, I'm able to open positions in the money already. You can see that if it expires at this rate, I'm going to have 3 years of profit right away. So I can select here, open another position. So if everything goes well, all these positions are already in money. So I can also do the following. I can select the position that is above the positions that I have opened, and I can open lower positions. So I can open put positions here, and that way I'll have my positions locked between the one that's above and the one that's below. Of course, I'd rather sell this because I was just opening this position for demonstration, and I have invested in total a substantial amount, which I don't want to risk with this trade. So these are digital options. I think we've covered everything at this point. Now, last thing you can see here, the trader's mood indicator. Do not rely too much on it. So for example, right now it's telling me to sell. I would not rely too much on it because this is the trader's mood indicator. So these are the positions that are opened by other traders. So we don't know what analysis the other traders are using. So it would be not very let's say, wise for us to use solely and rely solely on the trader's mood indicator. So this basically shows you the percentage of trades that are opened up or down. So this is what I wanted to show you today regarding the main types of assets that we have on the platform regarding the interface. I'll go to support, and also I can go to chats. This is where you can go to send some questions to other traders and have an interesting and meaningful interaction with them. So I think that's it for today, and I think you might have some questions, and hopefully my colleagues have been answering them throughout the course of this presentation. Now, I'm really glad, I'm really thankful that you have been with me during this hour, and I really hope and look forward to see you again. It's been a pleasure to show you the functions and the most basic stuff about the IQ Option Trading platform. I look forward to see you again, and I wish you a great evening.